These are the issues that you are telling me that diplomatically. By now, the High Commission of South Africa and Ghana must be answering to us. Why South Africans living in Ghana must live in this country?
But should it be an eye for an eye?
It has to be, because this is not the first time. You see, sometimes the lady that spoke, they don't know their history. If they know the contribution of Ghana to South Africa, she wouldn't speak the way she spoke. As far back as 1960s, Kwame Nkrumah gave our money to the IZWI, the arm wing of ANC. That money could have been used to develop Ghana. Mandela was the one that was coming to this country to collect that money. No, beyond that, there were a lot of comrades from South Africa that were using Ghanaian passports. Because at that time, we were using South African passports. It was very difficult to be traveling around to fight apartheid. We granted them passports to be traveling around the world in our name so that they can go and do business. What are we talking about? Look at the guy in the midst of 15 South Africans being humiliated.
Yeah.
We do this, and the High Commissioner, having heard from him, we said we have called the foreign minister there. She must be explaining to us why the more than 5,000 South Africans here must live comfortably. Look, this economy called Ghana is held by South African businesses. They make so much money from this country.
South Africans living in Ghana. South Africans living in Ghana. Can you people leave our country? South Africans in Ghana. Can you people leave? Enough of this nonsense. South Africans living in Ghana. Can you people leave? Leave before we start our own. Because we will not take it from you people. We will not take it to Honorable Okujato Ablakwa. Please do something about it. South Africans living in Ghana, can you leave our country? Can you also go back to your country and fix your country? South Africans living in Ghana, can you people leave? Can you leave?
Ghanaians want South Africans out. Why? What is the reason behind this growing call by the Ghanaian citizens for South Africans to be expelled from Ghana? What is it that has prompted this? What is the reason behind this? Ladies and gentlemen, something serious is happening on the African continent. For years, South Africa has been at the center of controversy, accused of xenophobic attacks against fellow Africans. That would include your Nigerians, your Zimbabweans, your Mozambicans, Congolese, Ghanaians, and many more. But now, the tables are turning. Ghanaians are speaking out loudly, boldly, and emotionally. Some are now calling for the expulsion of South Africans from Ghana. Yes, you heard that right. Africans calling for other Africans to be removed from their country. So the question now is, how did we get here? How did we arrive to this point? Is this justice? Or is this the beginning of something dangerous? Let us talk about it, because it's important that we talk about this, and also to understand that this kind of reaction from Ghanaians, is it justified? Do they even understand why South Africans are so upset at the undocumented foreigners and even the documented foreigners who are engaging in criminal activities in South Africa? Have they ever stopped for a moment and try to put themselves in the shoes of South Africans? So let's get to it. Let's get to it. What is happening? In recent days, social media platforms have been flooded with anger coming from Ghana. Videos, posts, and discussions accusing South Africa of ongoing xenophobic violence. The Ghanaians are saying, if South Africans don't want Africans in their country, then they must also leave ours. That's what the Ghanaians are saying. Now, this is not just random talk. This is emotional retaliation. This is frustration that has been building for years. Because every time South Africans complain about the presence of foreign nationals in South Africa, especially undocumented foreigners, there's always a propaganda to misconstrue and mischaracterize South Africans as being xenophobic without even going to details or going deeper into understanding what informs this frustration by South Africans. Images spread across the continent. African migrants being attacked, business looted, people living in fear. And countries like Ghana have been watching quietly, but now they are no longer quiet. But what is not happening is that they are not being shown the criminal activities that the very same Ghanaians and other African brothers and sisters are engaging in South Africa. The history of the so-called xenophobia in South Africa. Let us start here. South Africa has had repeated outbreaks of South Africans taking physical action against the presence of foreign nationals in this country. That will go back from 2008, 2015, 2019, and even the recent incidents. Foreign nationals, especially the Africans, stand accused of having been at the center of criminal activities in this country that will include your cash in transit heist, that will include your drug peddling, the motor hijacking, the building hijacking, the prostitution, human trafficking. That is the lived reality of South Africans who are expected to live in the same space with people who perpetuate this kind of criminal activities. Right. And also, there's also another question that will include that the scarce resources. When now you have the unemployment, poverty, crime, and competition for the resources. Because now we are seeing how white capital is capitalizing on the presence of these foreign nationals, especially undocumented. Whereby now they replace South Africans with these foreign nationals. And then South Africans get to be insulted by white capital, including the very same foreign nationals, that South Africans are lazy because South Africans refuse to accept slave wages and slave-like conditions of employment. Right. So many South Africans feel that foreigners are taking jobs, running businesses in townships. It cannot be that you will come from Ghana, you come to South Africa to run a barber shop in South Africa. Why couldn't you run it in Ghana? Right. And of course, undercutting local prices. You see, that's the reality that we have. So the Ghana's response is justified or dangerous. It is a very dangerous response. Because let us get to this. In South Africa, you've got companies, South African companies who are in Ghana doing business, employing Ghanaians. I'm talking about companies who have invested heavily in the Ghanaian economy. Your ShopRite, your MTN and others. So once you say you don't want South Africans in Ghana, it is not South Africans who are going to suffer, it is the Ghanaians who are going to suffer. But when you bring it to this side, to South Africa, which Ghanaian business are investing in South Africa? There's no such. Rather, you've got churches and all of that who are scamming people. That cannot be characterized as it bring investment in a country. So Ghanaians, before they act emotionally, they've got to understand this, that are they even in a position to be saying the things that they are saying? And between them and South Africans, who is likely to suffer more? Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Tebos Kosana. The name of the platform is IZWI LABANSUNDU, the voice for Africans, the voice of the people. Kama Africa.